All right, good evening, everyone. And thank you for joining again today. We're in part 10 of this series, and we started discussing the pleasure last week. And that's mainly about sex and sexuality as far as relationship and marriage is concerned. I will continue in that conversation today. Next week, we're going to be discussing the problem. And the focus of next week will be about the issue of divorce, the rate of divorce in the world, the statistics around divorce, and the challenges and what can be done, and the causes, major causes, and what can be done to prevent it. Then after that, we discuss the purpose of marriage. And then we look at preparation in 2 steps. And in 3 phases, rather, preparation, then planning, then pointers, and then we round off with predisposition. So we still have about 7 to 9 sessions. I was thinking this will last for 3 months. By next week or 2 weeks' time, we'll have spent 3 months already. And this just speaks to how important and vital this topic is. You know, like I said at one of the editions, that most of the time you go for seminars, We talk about this thing in 30 minutes, in 1 hour, because we are pressed for time. We just want to do it sharp, sharp. But sincerely, I'm not sure that is enough for our society and community again. We need a compendium of information that address most of the critical issue, if not all, such that people are able to ensure that at the end of the day, when they are going into this thing called marriage, they are taking an informed decision in order to live a peaceful life, to enjoy the relationship and not to endure the relationship. So the youth of this generation are faced with the great challenge of choosing life partner. Many have followed practices and not principles. And this has led to a situation where you have a high rate of divorce and even paternity fraud in many marriages. So the goal of this program is to help everyone that will be part of this, or those that will listen to it in the future, to be able to get it right in this critical area of their lives. You will learn some common ideas about marriage in this series, but please note that these ideas are based on research. They are based on science. They are based on statistics. They are based on scriptures. And they will help you align with the current reality of our times. Because there are some practices that seems to have worked in the past, but the changing society made us realize that these were not right, even though it wasn't a major issue in those days, at those times, because of the kind of society we lived in. But today we're in a different society entirely. And hence the need for us to apply the right principles. So please listen with an open mind and go back to check. Please question everything I say. Don't take my word for it, because if you don't have a critical mind that question, then you will just accept what everybody says. Question it. Check it out yourself. Go and check it up. Do the research yourself. So you can also be able to be convinced about some of the ideas being shared in this conversation as far as relationship is concerned. Now, we started discussing the pleasure last week, and that's around sex. I will start today by defining sex again. And I love the sex definition given by a particular author. He says, sex can be defined as the covenant exchange of life, of love, and of pleasure. Covenant exchange of life, of love, and of pleasure between a man and a woman in a marriage environment for the purpose of unity, procreation, and expression of marital love. Please note that your definition determines the way you relate with anything in your life. The way you define your husband, the way you define your wife, the way you define your children, the way you define people around you, shows the way you relate with them. Shows the way you relate with them. If you define them wrongly, you will not relate with them correctly. For example, if you define your husband as an ATM, the only value your husband will have to you is being able to provide your need. If you define your wife as a baby factory, the only value you see in your wife is giving back to children. If you define your wife as someone that belongs to the kitchen, the only value you see in him is cooking your food. If you define your baby as your property, then you won't allow the child to be. When he grows up, you still want to see him as your own property, as your child, your property, forgetting that you're a steward and that you're just a custodian with a privilege to take care of this child for maybe 18 years, and then you're done. Whatever the child, whichever way the child behaves in teenager, whatever you're trying to do in the life of the child when he's a teenager is damage control. Whatever you see in the life of the child at 18, 19 is your report card of the 18-year job you did in the life of that child. Whatever the child turned out to be is your report card. Someone saying every child is an Osama bin Laden and Barack Obama. The one you speak to is the one that responds to you. So every child is Obama. Inside every child is an Obama and a Barack Obama and Osama bin Laden in every child. The one you speak to is the one that responds to you. So define it correctly. Let's go back to that definition. The covenant exchange of life. So in sex, there is covenant exchange of life. In sex, there is covenant exchange of love. In sex, there's covenant exchange of pleasure. If it has to be between a man and a woman, not a child, not a boy and a girl. And it has to be in the confine of marriage, in the environment of marriage. What is the goal? It fosters unity. What is the goal? It helps in procreation. And what is the goal? It's a means of expressing marital love. It's a means of expressing marital love. So you can then see by that definition, the fact that many people in our society today are missing it big time. Why? Through premarital sex. Why? Through fornication, adultery. Look, when I talk to young people, there was a time some teenager asked me, why? And I love their boldness. And I like teenagers to talk like this. And the reason is because if we don't allow them to talk, they will find answers somewhere else. Two girls, they came to my house and asked me, why should we not have sex? Why should we not have boyfriend? And have sex with them? They are Christians, but I didn't talk to them as Christians. And the reason is simple. I want them to have enough information to talk to their colleagues and friends. I want them to have information not to do what is right out of fear of heaven or hell, but out of love for themselves, love for their health, love for their future family, love for themselves. Because until you find a motivation to do, you know, people go to church, Nigeria, Africa is so religious, but our society is so terrible. Because people go to church and hear so many things, but there's no motivation to do what they are learning. Why? Because the motivation is about what they cannot see, heaven or hell. They don't even know when they will die. They don't even know when that will happen. But this instruction has implication in their life today, but nobody is talking to them about it. So they can't find motivation to do what is right. Same for those that believe in the Bible and the Christian faith. Some youth will tell me, why should we be born again? Why should I give my life to Christ? Because we paint a picture of the benefit of that as something to happen in future, forgetting that even today there is benefit to those decisions. So I'm basically saying that you must define your relationship with God. Define whatever you do. There must be reason. So anything you don't want to do, there must be a motivation to you. You must see the reason why. And the reason must make sense to you. That is the only way you can stay away. Our society is, we are living in a sexualized world. Children that are 7, 8, 9, 10, even 6, some of them are already defiled. Some of them are already being molested. Some of them are already sexually active. So it's a big deal in our society. In fact, people coming on social media and talking about how they sell their body, either as Olosho or as Ashewo, whatever it is they call themselves, people are not ashamed again. Look, look, there are some reality in our society today that we are running away from. Some reality that church is going to have to deal with in future is the reality of single parent, the reality of gay, lesbianism, reality of bisexual, reality of, these are things happening in our society today. And we must find the right way to communicate to this group of people. How do you explain a lady that is a single mom? How do you deal with it? She can't be left out. There must be a way to cater for such people. Why? Because if we don't talk a lot about the need for people to be adequately prepared for marriage, 10, 20 years ago, if you are not prepared at all for marriage and you get married, you can sustain it. You can sustain it. You can sustain it. 30 years ago, many people don't have an idea of what marriage is all about, and they got married. Today, if you try it, you might regret it. You might. I don't want to use the word will. You might regret it. Why? Our society has changed and changed significantly. The only safe environment for sex is in marriage because you are protected enough to engage in sex without any guilt or fear of blackmail. You know, when you are pregnant outside marriage, you are ashamed of yourself. But when you are pregnant as a married lady, you are happy. Is it not interesting? If you commit fornication, you'll do it by hiding. You don't want people to know. But if you are married, who cares? Who cares? Why? Because you are in the same environment. Everything around sex that is done outside the confines of marriage is usually done in secret. People don't want to know who they are going out with, who they are sleeping with, or who, if they get married, they don't want people, if they get pregnant, they want people to know they are pregnant. Everything is hidden. Why? Because it's not in the right environment. Please note that all sex is bad outside marriage. All sex is bad outside marriage. No matter what anybody tells you in our corrupt days, that will not change the fact. All sex is bad outside marriage. It is interesting to know that even though most people agree adultery is bad, but they do not agree that fornication is bad. When they are married, they don't like people sleeping with their husband. But before they got married, they can sleep around. But when they get married, they don't want people sleeping. You know, in recent time, you see some skits online. I don't know if they are real. I don't know if they are. I don't know if they are real. I don't know if they are programmed or planned. But you see a lot of skits on. They call it loyalty prank, loyalty prank, loyalty prank. And you see the way guys are angry when their girlfriend cheat on them, and how ladies are angry when their boyfriend cheat on them. The similarity of these two, fornication and adultery, is that you are eating from the plate or drawing pleasure from a property that does not belong to you. That's the similarity of fornication and adultery. You are eating from a plate or drawing pleasure, deriving pleasure from a property that does not belong to you. In plain word, you are simply stealing. You are simply a thief, stealing, because you are eating food, deriving pleasure from property that does not belong to you. These single people that don't agree that fornication is wrong are going to get married, but they have cultivated an habit that they will take into marriage. You know? You know why nowadays cheating is common? Why nowadays infidelity is growing? Do you know why nowadays separation is increasing? One of the major reasons is this. If someone is already used to sleeping around before getting married, it's not going to change because he got married. It's not going to change. It's already a lifestyle. It's already a lifestyle to sleep around, to commit fornication before you get married. You know, if you were around last week, I mentioned the fact that when you have a sexual experience, you create a neural pathway in your brain, in your mind. You create a neural pathway. So if you have had if you have slept with 3 different people, you're going to create 3 different neural pathways in your brain. The day you get married, you are going to now have the 4th neural pathway. Guess what? Your brain is going to compare this new experience with the old one. This is why you hear, my husband is not satisfying me. My wife is not satisfying me. My husband is not doing this. Your husband is not satisfying you compared to what? Your wife is not satisfying you compared to what? If you have never had an experience before, you don't have a basis for comparison. You don't have a basis for comparison. But if you have had an experience, then you're going to make that excuse. Particularly if you have slept with people who are seriously engaged in that act with so many skills. I believe the way God designed it is for husband and wife to explore themselves by themselves and grow and learn in it. You don't need any experience to come in. Grow and learn in it. You don't need any experience. If both of you come in as novice, fantastic. However, I've warned severally in this program, if any of you is already sexually active before you get married, no problem, but you must discuss it. If it's the guy must tell you the detail of that experience and what it has done to him or her and what that has made him or her to prefer, which is why it's good it's discussed before marriage, so that if you are the lady or you are the guy and you will not be able to engage in such act or such practice or such style, discuss and agree immediately. Discuss and agree immediately. I've had ladies that broke up because of this issue. Because of this issue. Why? The lady was introduced to a style that the guy was going to marry to don't like. So the lady told the guy, look, I like this, oh, what do you think? The guy said, no, I can't do that. So the lady said, okay, no problem. Maybe we can call it quit at this point. I think that is better than them having issue in the relationship because of an exposure of one of the partners. So this is why it must be discussed and discussed extensively. But like I said, if both parties come in, both of them not active, great. If you are active, you make the mistake, God is always forgiving, but remember there is a scar, otherwise called a neural pathway. That neural pathway will never go away. It will remain there. And it forms a basis for comparison. It forms a basis for comparison. This is one of the reasons why if a man is already sexually active before he gets married, the chance that he will be unfaithful is high. If a woman is already sexually active before he gets married, the chance that she will be unfaithful is high. The chance is high. Does not mean he cannot or she cannot keep themselves, but the chance is high. Because there is a practice already. He's already used to drawing from where he has not sown. He's already used to stealing from another person's property. He's going to continue that practice, most likely. Please know that marriage will not change a man to become well-behaved, or a woman to become well-behaved and chaste when he or she have lived a promiscuous life as a single. So if you are used to taking what is not yours as a single person, you are not going to change because you are now married. You are not. All sexual escapade as singles is a rehearsal for what will happen or what you will likely do when you are now married. All sexual escapade as single, they are rehearsal for what you will do or what will most likely happen when you get married. This is what has made many married people in our world today to become stuck in adultery. To become stuck in adultery. To become stuck in adultery. To become stuck in adultery, even after they've gotten married. They get stuck. Most of the time, when you see adultery in a marriage, there is most likely a foundation of fornication that has been laid in that marriage. The fact that you plan to get married does not mean you are married already, even if you are in a relationship or courtship, because you can still break up. As long before you get to the altar, you can still break up. And this does not make premarital sex okay, even though both of you have agreed you're going to get married. It does not make it okay. It does not make it okay. Because you are not yet married. So the relationship can still break up. You are not yet married. So the relationship can still break up. So if you're saying, after all, we're about to get married, what if the relationship break up? Remember, I've said earlier that the goal of courtship is not to get married, is to understand if you should go ahead or not. That means break up in a courtship is fine. That means the courtship have achieved the objective of letting you know that you can't go ahead in this relationship. You can't go ahead. So having a breakup is good. It's a sign that the breakup achieves its objective. If the courtship also leads to marriage, it's good. It helps to achieve. The idea is it helps you to know, should I grow ahead or not? That's the goal. So if it leads to marriage, great. If it does not lead to marriage, great. Why? Because the goal is to check and see, is there a possibility of marriage here? Can we go ahead? That's the goal. So we have achieved the goal, actually, you know? We have achieved the goal. By seeing the reason why we can't go ahead. Maybe in the course of the courtship, you realize you are both AS. Or in the course of the relationship, you discover that, look, you don't like the personality of the other party. The personality of the other party. Whatever it is that you saw that make you not to go ahead is fine. The courtship has achieved its objective, even if it does not lead to marriage. Most of the time, when you see adultery in a marriage, like I said, there's most likely a foundation of fornication in their marriage. And the fact that someone get married does not mean he will change his ways. When there is no sex involved in premarital relationship, it makes breakup to be very easy. It makes breakup to be very easy. But when sex is involved, it's a painful process because of soul ties. Because of soul ties. As a matter of fact, the sexual bonding has been proven to be stronger with someone that is your first. That is your first. Sexual bonding is proven to be stronger with someone that is your first. That means the person that deflowered you as a lady, or the first person you slept with as a guy, that is your first, that is your best experience so far. If you have to sleep with different people, and that is your most intimate. Your first, your best, and the most intimate. Breaking up with them is tough. Why? Soul ties. That's why sometimes some lady will break up and it's like their life has finished. Some girls will now be telling them, why do you want to kill yourself? Why do you want to do this? They don't understand the emotional trauma the lady is going through, and they can't help it, and it's going through that pain. Ladies have been found to have the strongest bond emotionally with the person that is virgin them than any other man they have ever had sex with afterwards. Please note that every fornicator today is an adulterer in training tomorrow. Every fornicator today is an adulterer in training tomorrow. And the reason is because he has learned to steal from property that is not his own. And because that act of stealing is still there. It's an adulterer in training tomorrow. When they become married, they will most likely continue and become an adulterer. Statistics have shown that over 80% of marriages with infidelity has fornication as a seed that was sown before they get married. 80%. Statistics show that 80% of marriage that have infidelity has a seed in it. The seed was sown by the guy or the lady as fornication with someone else before they got married. This explains the reason why you hear that people get married and the night before they got married, a day after they got married, even during the honeymoon in the same hotel, their ex is around and they are meeting with their ex. If you are in a relationship with someone, please hold on till you get married before you begin to sleep with each other. Remember, you have your whole life remaining to sleep with your partner. So why are you in a hurry? Why are you in a hurry? Why are you in a hurry? The self-control that you built while waiting as a single is the self-control that will keep you with your wife or husband during marriage. That self-control you've been able to build as a single person, that is the self-control that will make you stay faithful in your marriage. If you don't have self-control before you got married, most likely you will not have it when you get married. This is what makes breakup become tougher when sex has been involved. Please note that when you cross this line of becoming sexually active, it will not only be that once that you do it. Most likely, it will continue. And let me tell you, sex can be addictive. It can be addictive. It can be addictive because the hormone release during the act, dopamine, is addictive. That's the same hormone released. One of the hormone release, apart from dopamine, you have oxytocin and other hormone released during sex. But that particular hormone, dopamine, is also released when people smoke or drink. It's also released in some other pleasurable activities. And this hormone increases the tendency towards addiction. If you are a virgin and under pressure from friends to taste it, not that you can always join them thereafter, but they cannot come back to become virgin like you again, but you can always join them when you get married. Everyone that is addicted to drugs or alcohol today started with one trial, but today they are addicted. That's exactly the way sex will become addictive if the line is crossed. Sex is a big deal in our society today. That is why the society today is dealing with the issue of rape, the issue of pedophile, the issue of incest. And of course, you see ladies come online, they are not afraid to call themselves Olosho, and they really practically sell their body. They really practically sell their body. And they have, they have different prices for different services you need. Different price for different services. Another issue about premarital sex among intending couple is the argument that they need to check out themselves sexually is the argument that they need to check out themselves sexually for sexual compatibility. And many single-minded or simple-minded ladies are falling for this. We need to check out ourselves. What are you checking? The only reason why you are concerned about checking is because you have had an experience. If you have not had an experience, you don't have a basis for checking. There's nothing to check because there's no experience to compare with. So if they keep checking, so you check this lady, I'm not compatible, you go and check the second lady, you keep checking and checking and checking, and the lady is giving themselves out to check out. Does that make sense to you? Checking out, that argument is not true because you are supposed to both come into the relationship, the marriage, without any experience. Talk less of sexual compatibility. Like I said, don't feel guilty or bad if you have made mistakes. The beauty of God is that He's forgiving. So, but you must know that even though He has forgiven and He will always forgive, what you must now do to yourself is to ensure you don't find yourself repeating the mistake again and discuss whatever escapade you've had with your intending wife or husband in future. As a matter of fact, saying you are not sexually compatible presupposes that you have a basis for comparison because you already tasted it with someone else. If both of you are coming into the relationship innocently sexual-wise, none of you will have an issue with the other because you will enjoy the sex the way it is. You will enjoy it the way it is. There's no basis for comparison. You like it the way it is because you don't have any experience to compare with. So you are just fine. If there's anything you need to learn, you can both learn it together. You can read about it together and grow and become experienced together. Some people make argument that, how can I buy a car that I've not tested or test drive? I'm sure no lady wants to be a car to be tested. I'm sure. No guys also want to be a car to be tested. The question is, how many will you therefore test before you find the right one for you? How many? Ladies, please take note that you are not available for testing. You are not available for testing. There are some that are only going to visit your shop just to come and test, and they go away. You are not available for such. Note that sexual compatibility is not something that is discovered, but rather is something that is developed. It is not something that is discovered, it is something that is developed. Both of you are to develop the compatibility by listening to each other, exploring each other, and being committed to pleasing and satisfying each other. That's all you need. Listen to yourself. Explore each other and be committed to pleasing and satisfying each other. As you explore each other's body, you will know what he or she like or enjoy and prefer that you do. You actually have your whole life before you to explore yourself. But some get easily tired in exploring the marriage because they have already finished the honey before the honeymoon. You have your whole life ahead of you to explore. The whole life ahead of you to explore. The whole time and chance ahead of you to explore. You have all of that to explore. You have the whole of it to explore. You have the whole of it to explore ahead of you. But some people get easily tired in exploring. Why? They have already finished the honey before the honeymoon. Don't punish your nest for the pain of your ex. Don't punish your next or relationship with the next person for the pain of your ex. And this is what happened when people come and check you out and test you and then refuse to marry you. And then refuse to marry you. It is important to state that one of the reasons why people engage in premarital sex is because nobody is talking to them about the hormonal level they experience during puberty that increase sexual urge. So for a child, for a teenager, for example, there is a rush of hormone as a teenager, particularly as they approach puberty, but nobody is explaining to them. Like I was talking to those ladies, those girls, because they were teenagers in their 16, that they were asking me, why should I have boyfriend? Why should I have boyfriend and sleep with my boyfriend? I'm happy they were even open to asking. And I was very delighted to answer. And answer them based on how it benefits them without being religious, so that even if they are not Christian, they can see the reason why this is not right for them. Whereas in male that is just approaching puberty, a teenager, the testosterone level is very high. This makes sexual urge to be very uncontrollable. But they have a mind that can help them control it if they are educated on what is going on in their body and what they need to do about it. This is when young people get into pornography. This is when they get into pornography. This is when they read those magazines, watch those videos, check those porn sites. Why? Because look, there's just something happening in their body they can't understand. It looks so pleasurable. That's when they will have wet dreams also. The girls also have a high level of estrogen that increase their desire for love and desire for affection. This is why for girls at this time, if they meet a boy who is talking to them, admiring them, showing love, care, and affection to them, because nobody is showing them at home, the girl might most likely fall for it. Most likely fall for it. Because nobody in the house is admiring them, is appreciating them, and they are devoid of that appreciation, and the self-esteem is low. And here is a boy that is able to appreciate them, make them feel good about themselves. This makes the boy to trade love for sex, while the girls trade sex for love. As a teenager, boys trade love for sex. They give love to the girl to get sex. The girls trade sex for love. The girl give their body in sex to the guy to get love for the guy. This makes both of them to become really messed up before they eventually get married. And of course, this affects their marriage afterwards. Please note that premarital sex hurts your marriage. 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 Premarital sex give people wrong sexual orientation. It distorts their sexual orientation. It distracts them in life. It can even destroy their marriage and destroy their future. It can destroy their marriage and destroy their future. Premarital sex hurts your marriage because it sets expectation that the man that you eventually marry might not be able to meet. Premarital sex set expectation. If you become sexually active before you get married with a guy that is highly skilled in this area, or with a lady that is highly skilled in this area, it set an expectation. If the person you get married to cannot meet up with that expectation, because some ladies go to gym for this, some guys go to gym for this. You know, I go to gym regularly and I see them at the gym. I've had to interview some ladies at the gym. I just wanted to know what is your motivation? Why are you here? Because it's not fat, not that it's trying to burn fat. So I'm wondering, why is he here? It's not fat, because typically, maybe he wants to burn fat, but I realize there are a lot of objectives. So if you meet such person, he has developed so much skill in this area, and he has messed up your sexual orientation such that you will now see your husband or wife as not being good enough. Not being good enough. So you hear a lot of things. How much should the guy last in bed? What is the size of his private part? I mean, so many discussions online. Do you know why these discussions are going on? Because we live in a highly sexualized world. You won't be worried about all that if you are not already exposed. So for those of us that are not, my desire is that you will be to keep yourself. And for those of us that are already, I'm not here to condemn anybody. The goal is to let you understand the implication of what has happened so that you can ensure it doesn't affect your marriage. That is what is important for you if you're already sexually active. Know the implication, ensure you don't find yourself in that again, so you don't make it worse, and see what you can do when you get married. Talk to your spouse about it. Talk to your spouse about it. Look, if you are not free to talk to the person you want to get married to on anything and everything, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't understand how you want to deal in that relationship. You must be free to discuss it. If you don't, it might have consequences. If you don't feel comfortable discussing it physically, talk about it on phone. Chat. Find another means of communicating. Don't feel comfortable talking to him about it when you meet physically. Find a way to communicate it. You can use phone, you can use chat. Use other means that will be virtual, not physical, but you should talk about it. If anybody says you should not talk about it, I'm not sure the person likes you. Because with the way our world is today, there are some things we avoid in the past. We should not make that mistake today. They work in those days when, because our society also was not as really terrible like this, as at that time. But society today is, a lot is going on in our society. If you're on social media, you see a lot every day. Every day. Every day. So if a lady has had, for example, 5 sexual partners, and one of them is a good kisser, the second one do foreplay very well, the third one is good at sex itself, the other 2 are good at other things. Listen to this. Then that lady now marry a guy later. He will never be able to meet any man that can combine all these characteristics. Because the lady have now developed an appetite and taste that the person is getting married to may never be able to satisfy. And I gave you an example last week of a lady who was almost divorcing the husband because before he got married, he had 2 sexual partners who seemed to be a lot better in her estimation with her husband, and she was almost divorcing her husband. I spotted it the way she was behaving in class, and I had to interview her before she opened up, and I told her to go and discuss with her husband. Eventually, she discussed with her husband, and of course, they made up, and he has to begin to teach her husband. Why? Before, she could not talk about it. Why could she not talk about it? You say, if I talk about it, my husband will think I am what do you call it now? A prostitute or something. If you have had this experience, then you can easily, it's your husband, for crying out loud. What do you want to hide? After all, you guys can even bath together. So what are you hiding really? So why can't you? Now he's married. It's so important. This kind of lady may not be able, because he has 5 different sexual partners in the past who have different skill in different areas. Combining good kiss, foreplay, sex itself, or maybe oral sex. And you find a situation in which none of the person is marrying. The person is married is not able to combine this, but he had an experience. Remember, each of these 5 people would have created a neural pathway in her brain. That's why she will never forget them. So when someone says he or she is not sexually satisfied in his or her marriage, then you should ask him, compared to what? It is estimated that 20 to 40% of divorcees in marriages are linked to infidelity. In the course of preparing this program, I actually check out a recent research on divorce, and that's what we'll be discussing next week: divorce, separation and divorce. Separation and divorce. And this statistic was done in many countries together. And you will see the rate of divorce, how it has progressed from 1960 till today. How it has significantly increased. In 1960, for every marriage, there's only one divorce. For every 8 marriage, there is only one divorce. Today, the number has increased significantly. The number today is almost 50%. In 1960, it's just about 12.5%, 1/8. Today, it's about 4 to 5 out of 8, about 50%. Why has the rate of divorce increased significantly? One of them is because of infidelity. 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 Remember, the chance of infidelity increase in someone who already is sexually active before you get married. To maintain sexual purity before marriage, you need to keep your mind by guiding the entrance into your heart. Please note, your eyes and your ears are gateway to your heart. Your eyes and your ears are gateway to your heart. The most powerful organ in your body is not your sexual organ, it's not the private part, it's your mind. Please note, the most powerful sexual organ in your body is your mind. It's not the male organ or female organ. It is your mind. It is your mind. It is your mind. Do you know you can think about someone and you can ejaculate? As in, you can think about someone. Your mind can be, you can so think about. That's why Jesus said, if you look unto someone to lust after him, because you can actually sleep with him or her in your mind. In your mind. So you must guard your heart. Your eyes and your ears are gateway to your heart. Your eyes and your ears are gateway to your heart. Your eyes and your ears are gateway to your heart. Your mind is the most powerful sexual organ that you have. And that is why it must be guarded to prevent you from the physical act. Because if you keep seeing the porn, if you keep seeing the naked ladies, or you see seeing the guy, if you keep seeing those things or hearing those things, you want to practice it. 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 It's just a matter of time. Please note that sex is not love. So giving your body to someone who say he loves you, giving your body to someone who say he loves you is a sign of love. It's a sign. It's a wrong sign of love, rather. It's a wrong sign of love. If the person truly loves you, he will wait till you get married, till you are married. In fact, I tell ladies, the fact that the guy is eager to sleep with you before you get married is a sign that he doesn't love you. What he likes is what he sees. It's not the person inside. It is the container outside. He doesn't like the content, it's the container he likes. In fact, there was a lady that was telling me about a guy that was proposing to her, and the way the guy talked about her body. The guy is like, he's so eager to sleep with her. He just proposed, and he's supposed to be a Christian. So I told the lady, I said, look, it's your choice to go ahead, but I must tell you, this guy does not love you. I think he's more interested in your body. If he's already demanding for sex and he knows it's wrong. If sex is love, then all prostitutes are in love. They will be in love because they have sex with different people every day. Please don't be deceived that everyone is doing it. That is no reason why you should. Please note that people still marry today as virgins. People still marry in our days as virgins. Don't be deceived with all that is going on social media. So many people in our world still married. There's a pastor that was talking about the fact that he still finds himself counseling young couple about sex because sometimes they have difficulty in being able to sleep with each other because, of course, the lady is a virgin, and he has to educate them. So people are still getting married as virgin. There are still couples today that are married as virgin. The fact that you don't have them around you does not show that they don't exist. In fact, that for me shows the company you keep. And that shows the reason why you're under sexual pressure. The reason why many waste the time of courtship and therefore do not really know themselves before marriage is because they were beclouded by sex before marriage. One of the things that can becloud you, that will not make you know the person you are getting married to, is because you are already beclouded by the sexual act. The only thing you see about him or her is the sex you have. So you're not able to discuss important issues and matters that will sustain the marriage. The introduction of sex before marriage do not allow you to build intimacy. It doesn't allow you to get to know yourself very well, the way you should, and the way you are. Please note that intimacy that build up to sex. Intimacy, please know that it is intimacy that should build up to sex, not the other way around. Not sex that will build intimacy. Intimacy should build up to sex. The fact that you have sex does not make you become intimate. And that is why it is very easy for the guy to break up, even though it's painful for the lady, particularly if it's his first. Also know that sex is not just good. It is very great because of the numerous benefits created by the orgasm. It's not just good, it's great. You can check out online, there are many benefits, many benefits beyond procreation, the pleasure. There are many physiological benefits. There are many physiological benefits. It has health benefits. It creates bonding as a result of the hormone that is released during orgasm. Unfortunately, the abuse is a big challenge. The abuse is a big challenge. The abuse is a big challenge. Regular sex among couples have humongous benefits. Science has revealed that it improves immunity. Science has shown it has cardiovascular benefit. Science shows that it helps to reduce blood pressure because of the hormone that is released. Science shows that it also helps to relieve pain. It helps to reduce the risk of prostate cancer. It also helps to improve sleep. It helps to relieve stress after a very hard day work. It boosts brain power. It increases lifespan and boosts self-esteem. These are scientific facts. It said participating in sex 1 or twice a week helps to boost immunity, according to research published by Psychological Report. They found that people who had sex once or twice a week had 30% increase in their antibodies. And this helped them to improve their immune system compared to those who don't. Clifford Lowell from the University of California in San Francisco also said that people who are sexually active are exposed to more infectious agents than individuals who are not sexually active. But immune system help them to overcome it. Cardiovascular benefit. Physical activity that exercise the heart are good for health. And ideally, you should exercise 3 to 5 times a week. Luckily, this includes sex as well as working out, just like an intense workout, because sexually aroused person cause increase in heart rate with the number of beats per minute peaking during orgasm. Men in particular have been shown to get a lot of cardiovascular benefit from sex. It lowers blood pressure. Regular sex can also lower blood pressure, especially in women, because of the hormone that is released. Women between 58 and 85 years who took part in recent studies were less likely to have hypertension. Relieve pain. Neurologists found that sexual activity can relieve pain associated with migraine, cluster headache, despite a headache often being an excuse for not having sex. The research conducted in Germany showed that 60% of individuals with migraine reported an improvement in the pain after sexual activity. It also reduced the risk of prostate cancer. It is said that men with frequent ejaculation could be protected against prostate cancer, which is the most common cancer among United States men. Improved sleep. Around 60 million adults in the UK suffer from some kind of sleep disorder. However, this could be improved by having regular sex. This is because during sex and orgasm, a cocktail of chemicals are released in the brain, oxytocin, dopamine, and a rush of endorphin, and this improves sleep. So, in as much as sex outside marriage can be destructive, if it's within the right environment, it has huge benefit. Stress can cause all kinds of health problems. A study published by Biological Psychology found that people who had regular sex has lower stress-rated blood pressure. It boosts brain power. Research published in the Archive of Sexual Behavior suggests that frequent sex may improve woman memory, increase lifespan. A study published by BMJ tracked the mortality rate among 1,000 men aged between 45 and 59 over 10 years. They found that the risk of death was 50% lower in men who frequently had orgasm than men who don't. And of course, it boosts self-esteem. Thank you very much for listening again today. I believe this has been an interesting conversation. We'll be shifting gear next week to discuss another topic on this matter. Let me hear from you. How has been the discussion today? The first on my list here is Mercy. Mercy, long time. How are you? Good evening. You can unmute yourself. What have you learned today? And questions. Okay, Mercy is busy. Dami, good evening. Can you hear me? Hello, Dami. Hello, Dami. Can you hear me, please? Elijah Fatoye. Please confirm if you can hear me. I'm not sure. Can you hear me, please? Please confirm if you can hear me. Let me be sure I'm not talking to myself.
Yeah, hello.
Okay, Dami, go ahead.
Hello? Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, thank you for the session. I really appreciate it. Although I'm still trying to think about the question now. So I have to get back to you on this.
All right.
Yeah.
Elijah Fatoye, good evening. Can you hear me? Hello, Elijah. Okay, Glory, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening. Long time. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Yes.
Yes,
what have you
sir.
learned today? And
Thank
any
you.
question for
I
me?
came in a bit late.
Okay.
Yeah, I came in a bit late. I really don't have much question. But what I came in, you were talking about the necessity of intimacy before sex. How sex deprive couples from the intimacy they would derive. Yeah. So you said that when a guy begins to look after a lady's body, when you're in a relationship, it's an evidence that the guy really do not love the girl. It's just about the shape of the body of the lady. So I have learned that, and I hope to still learn more, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
John, good evening. How are you? Hello, John.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah. So I didn't join at the beginning of the meeting, but then I learned a lot. I know some of the things I've heard you say before, But one thing that struck me tonight was it gave me a different perspective. And what it was really is that you said something about boys trading sex for love and girls trading love
for sex.
Did I get that right? Yes. Boys trade love for sex and girls trade sex for love. It means the girls are love deprived and they want to feel loved, so they give their bodies to get loved.
Yes.
So I feel like if the home is more balanced in the sense where the parents are able to teach their children well at home and express and let them be expressive and then show them so much love. They want to go and find that love outside the home and then get exposed to things that would now affect them, negatively, especially when they can now get married, because this thing, it doesn't just stop when you are small. These things have effects many years after. Sometimes even carries on to their own children if they're not able to rebuild themselves over time and identify that they had challenges growing up, and they need to change who they are to become a different kind of parent for their own kids. So that changed my perspective as well again. So it's not just about you training yourself. Also, when you have learned something like this in a class like this, also expose your children to so much love. Let them feel loved at home, such that they don't go to look for love in the wrong places and then get exposed to things that now turn their own lives upside down.
All right, thank you. Carlo David, good evening. Hello, David. Good evening. Are you there? Okay, David. Omar's iPhone. Omar, good evening. Omar, are you there? Samuel. Hello, Samuel. Good evening. Any question or what have you learned tonight? Samuel, yes.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, thank you very much for this session tonight. It's really been an impactful session, and I've actually gained a lot from the session. So one of the things that caught my attention was you saying that having sex outside marriage is also synonymous to stealing. So the property that does not belong to you.
Yeah.
And people say it. And then you also say that when there's adultery in marriage, it's as a result of fornication as single. So when you are single and then you are engaged in fornication, so there's no how you can actually come out of it when you are married. Marriage is not the panacea to having sex with other people outside your partner. So those things actually caught my attention. And then you also made us understand that self-control, the self-control you can actually exhibit as single before marriage, we also keep you in marriage. So if you are not able to control yourself as single, then there's high tendency that you will be able to control yourself even when you're married. So, and then we talked about intimacy, that intimacy should be the one to bring the sex, not the other way around. So those are part of the things. And then you actually highlighted a lot of benefits attached to sex. And then when it's time for one to begin to get active, so the benefits that should be expected from it. So I would say the choke actually they are much. So still looking forward to that. Thank you very much for tonight.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Samuel. Yes, Omar, go
good
ahead.
evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, yes. Okay, so this is like my third time joining in. So I think I've been waiting for this part to come in actually.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So because I kind of feel like it's not like the part where okay, this generation that we are this time, I don't know if to some people it's actually easy for you to avoid that premarital sex.
Yeah.
You understand? I know it's easy for some people to avoid it because in the sense whereas you say you don't want to do this, but then the person in question is pressurizing you to do it.
Yeah.
Because you guys have the fact that, we want to get married and all that. And at the end of the day, I just feel like actually breaking. So I was just able to grab some things, but I think I will chat you up about this so we can talk more on it.
All right. All right.
Because I think, yes, I think I need to, there are still some things I need to clarify and get confirmation from you and all that.
No problem.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Feel free.
So I actually love it.
Hello, sir. Elijah's asking if he can chat.
Elisha, you said what?
Elijah is asking if you can send a chat because he's not in the place where he can speak.
Yes, you can send a chat. You can send a chat. Go ahead, Oma.
Okay, so the thing is, for me, I can't say if the fact that if you say that, okay, I mean, I want to get married to this person. We have of cases where one is not sexually active with the partner. And when you get married to the person, on that day, you discover that the partner in question is not fertile, like can't do anything.
But that's okay. That's a basis for separation. In fact, that means the marriage cannot be consummated and it can divorce. Because the marriage cannot be, that means the person deceived you into it and you can easily divorce. It has happened.
So that, yes, I know it has happened, but then,
okay.
The fact that one now says that, maybe for some people, but I don't know, for me, you now get to separate from someone, and at the end of the day, just like I'll be keeping myself pure for this particular person, and at the end of the day, this person deceives me. Now you become a divorcee. Being a divorcee in this generation of
no, hold on. For me, it's even better because you now, for me, the question I will first of all ask is, if this person, there are some fundamental issues that we must get right, first of all. So, for example, the goal of courtship is to be able to even dictate someone that is deceiving you. Because if he lied about that, most likely he's also lying about other things. That means it's actually a deceiver ab initio. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So
yes, I understand.
Yeah, so in the goal of courtship, for me, the fact that he's probably impotent and you're getting to know afterwards, the guy will know himself. So that means he's not even supposed to even get married in the first place. So that means he deceived the lady. Of course, he knows this marriage cannot stand. Now, you won't say, this will not be the case for many people. You won't say because of this. That's the reason why you want to check it out.
Okay.
Because if you are checking everybody out,
yes,
how many do you want to check out?
Yeah.
A painful one, though, I agree with you, it's a very painful one, but it's still better that you know afterwards, and of course you separate from it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what about one that has actually started it? I mean, I know it's something you just started, and I don't know, how do you think one can just come over it?
What do you mean by someone that already started? What do you mean by that?
So already have premarital sex.
Yeah.
And then decides to stop it. Yeah, I know that.
So with someone else or with the person who wants to marry?
No, not with someone you want to, like, you have premarital. Like I said,
he has an
sex.
Ex. He has an ex.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you have sex. You already have sex with someone. You understand? At the end of the day, you get to realize that I am not supposed to do this.
Yeah.
It's actually wrong.
Yes.
Then you now try to stop it.
Yes.
Yes. Now you are trying to stop it, but it's more or less like you are finding it difficult to stop this particular thing.
Yes.
Because you've already have sexual encounters already, and you're like, it's not better if I just continue with this thing that I've already started. Then when I get married, I know that I continue like that. Now, I don't know how one can just something like that.
Let's look at it this way. I've put my hand in the fire, it burned me, and I want to put it back because I can't help it but put my hand in the fire. First thing we must understand is, what is the implication of this thing I'm doing? For us as humans, immediately you know the implication of something. As in, there's a way you can deceive your brain. I don't want to use the word deceive. There's a way you can condition your brain to know the reason why you can't do something. For example, when someone says that he cannot do something or he cannot do without something, in the real sense of the word, what he's not telling himself is that I have not acquired the discipline to be able to prevent myself from doing this thing. So, for example, if the temptation is to the same guy, why are you still in a relationship with the guy? That's the first question.
Okay.
Number two, so number one, you know that, look, this guy, I've had an experience. So the guy is a potential
Okay.
temptation already. He's a potential temptation already. So I want to separate myself from that guy as much as possible. If I don't do that, I'm deceiving myself because you are flesh and blood. If you
Yeah.
don't separate yourself from that person, first of all, then after separation, number two, what are the things? Because every habit we get into, there is something that predisposes us to it. Is it that I visit a
Yeah.
website? Is it that I visit a website? I see some pictures online, I watch pornography, or I masturbate? What is it that I do that predisposes me? I must identify those things. And I must identify if, for example, maybe I'm on a platform where people post things that make me to think about this guy, then I must unfollow or remove myself from that platform. I must remove myself from people I follow that post stuff that will make me to think about this guy. So the idea basically is that, you know, we had a program recently. It was on addiction. And after that program, a lady called me and we're talking, and was talking about the fact that she watched pornography. And she said she stopped. And said how she was able to stop is she unsubscribed on all her social media platforms. She unsubscribed. She didn't just unfollow people that post, though. She decided to unsubscribe.
Okay.
Now, that's a person that wants to stop because she realized that the reason why she finds herself every evening touching herself is because of what she sees online and because of what she goes. So she make up her mind. Now, that's a sign of someone who wants to do something about it. Because sincerely, if you don't remove those predispositions, that's why I said your eyes and your ears are gateway to your heart. Your eyes and your ears are gateway to your heart. If you don't remove those predispositions, sincerely, the temptation is high.
Okay.
Very, very high. I don't know if I've helped.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. 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 All right, sir.
Plus afterwards, anyway. All right.
Okay.
Toria, good evening. How are you? Toria, good evening. Are you there?
Hello, sir.
Yes, good evening. Dami, I will come back to you after Toria finishes speaking. Toria, go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yes. I can hear you.
Okay. So, once again, thank you very much, sir. What was striking for me tonight was how did you even put it there? If sex was love, then all prostitutes are in love.
Yeah.
because the way we really paint this thing about sex, it's not even logical
Yeah.
for me. And then the intuition or this thing that I'm in love with, I'm in love with, I'm in love with. The next thing that pops into normal human head is sex.
Yes.
Like as a show of the love or a proof of the love.
Yes.
But then over time we figured out that this person can tell you I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love with you. And then it's like as if once you have the sex, it's like that is the end. Like the person can easily move on. So for me, that's to prove that sex actually is not a proof of love.
Yeah.
Then I also wanted to ask a question.
Go ahead.
You made mention of consummation of marriage.
Yes.
Sex is like a consummation of marriage.
It's actually
is it that
joining. That is the joining. You see the one that happened in church ceremony. The real joining happened.
okay?
Yes.
So the real marriage is the sex. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, that's what consummated.
So you're telling me now that so many people are married to different people.
That's why yes, you get the point. You are married, you are tied to so many people, and it's like that's why I painted a picture last week. I don't know if you were around when I painted that picture. If you take a paper that have a gum it together.
Colorfully worn out.
Yeah, thank you. You remember, colorfully worn out. Exactly. Go ahead.
Okay. Wow. Okay, sir. Okay, so I actually enjoyed today's session. You spoke a lot about sex, and then you said the most powerful sexual organ is the mind. Like that one actually blew my mind. And it's actually true. That's why, the Bible had to tell us that we had to renew our mind and guide our mind and our heart and all of that. Yes, then actually for me, because sometimes I try to really understand some people and why they do things. Like you look around, you figure out that there's some people in relationships that these relationships literally are hurting them. Like it's doing them no good at all. Partners are cheating with them, hurting them, beating them. But then the lady is still like not able to let go. And I'm trying to really understand, like, what is good at the point. I'm like, is it jazz that they're using on
Jazz.
this
It's the
girl?
emotional ties. It's not jazz. It's the emotional ties. It's the emotional ties.
It's really strong because when you be in a toxic relationship, the guy is beating. It's not even logical at all. At all. So this is powerful, yeah. Okay, so yes. Then you also made mention of something.
Okay.
I forgot. Okay, then the benefits. The benefits of that you are highlighting.
Yeah.
It's actually making me, look forward. You understand? So, all right, sir. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Dami, go ahead. I can see your hand. Dami, go ahead.
All right. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much for this session. So the part that struck me was the part of where you said both the two partners can be chased at the same time. Because the situation where I find myself, the environment where I work, there is this belief that you can't meet a chaste lady, something like that, and
that's not true.
Because that has been the discussion over time, and they kind of make someone look like a fool. That why are you waiting? That why you disturb yourself? Why are you waiting? That you can't see anybody in the way. Not the single lady in this world that you can meet, which is. And for you, someone like me now, that I know what I want and I've been keeping myself for this part, as in it's part of the condition why I want to. It is what I want as well.
Hold on. Don't use that as a condition. I don't think that would be wise. Don't use that as a condition. Okay. That if you find a lady you really like, you bond, it meets a lot of your criteria in terms of the friendship, in terms of the quality, character, and the like. If he's already made mistake in the past, he can correct it. What is important is that you now discuss it, so that if she's already exposed to some act, some style, whatever it is, discuss it. So that at the end of the day, look, if you discuss it, it becomes easier. She won't be complaining about, because she will have a basis for comparison. But she can teach the husband. And then everybody can learn together. So I would rather, in as much as that is desirable, which is okay, I'm only saying that don't use it as a deal breaker such that you now find someone that, look, this person seems as is great for you, but just because of this, you don't want to go ahead. I don't think, because if he has made that mistake, but now is now living, he has not, probably is now, let's say he's 25, and he did it maybe when he was 21 or 18. It's been 5-6 years and he's not find himself in that again. I think it should be enough. But it's your decision anyway. It's just a recommendation. But if that's what
it's just something I want to the
that's okay.
Part of the that's something I would appreciate in her, something like that. Because if I can keep myself that way, she can also do the same thing. So it's something that can be included in
every guy wants it actually.
Of course. So you can find that in a lady as well. So that will even give, will increase the respect and the value you give to her.
Yeah.
So I just want to, so that part where you said it's possible. So it kind of give me an assurance that yes.
No, it's possible. There are so many steps. There are only that the one that are already not are more, but the truth is that they are. This also depends on the environment you position yourself. Because if you position yourself also in an environment where the people that are there are the environment position yourself also determines to a large extent if this is what you will find. And of course, someone said, be unto you according to your faith. If you believe you will find such person, most likely you will find him. Okay, David, go ahead. I saw your hand.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you?
Yeah, fine, thank you. Well, I think I joined a bit late, but I think, I've learned a lot, doing the ending part and also from people's comment and, their understanding about the conversation or discussion. So for me, I think this is a pure sex education. you know, you are
Yes. Yes.
you are
You are
being
correct.
real. Yes,
Yes.
it's a pure sex education. And
Yeah.
the fact this is why I know when I just joined, I was listening. Then it came to some time we were saying benefit of the sex and some other thing. This came to my mind. I was like, if our parents can't say this to us, and you are bringing the facts out, you are bringing the truth about this thing out. I think there is nothing out there again that will move us anymore. That's for me. You understand? Because anything we are going to see there, enjoy there, that we are like saying that we want to go and test and see. I think the picture is already out with facts, not that you're just saying it. So I think for me, it's a great one. It's just a great one. And so I'm not just like this question came to my mind.
Okay.
Just for instance, just like the last guy said, if you have been keeping yourself, they say,
Yes.
okay, you're kind of a virgin in
Yes.
that sense, or
Yes.
maybe you are of no count or one
Yes.
count, and probably when you are ready, you have this person you're interested with,
Yes.
and she got all the qualities you want,
Yes.
probably by all the values, everything is correct, but maybe her count is maybe around 10, 15. And it is very rare, it is very hard. No, I'm coming. I'm
Why
coming.
10, 15 count?
It
Now
is
for
very
you.
no. For instance,
Go ahead.
no, sir, it's possible. I know Nigeria here is very, very possible.
Yes, I
So,
know.
for
I know.
instance, now, uh for instance, now, it is very hard, even though you want to discuss with this person about it. It is very hard for this person to tell you the exact count.
Oh,
She
oh,
will not
yes.
tell you that it's 15 count.
Yes.
She will not tell you it's 10 count. She will put it in a way that it will be favorable between you, like favorable to you in that sense.
Yeah.
She may
Yeah.
say 5.
So
And now you believe her because, okay, sir.
go
Okay,
ahead. Go ahead.
you
Finish.
believe her.
Finish.
You Yeah, now you believe her because she's someone you trust.
Yes.
But at the same time, maybe she don't want to lose the relationship, so she's saying everything that will make the relationship work out in that
Okay.
sense. So now, if this person you now end up getting married to that person, and you now find out that this person you are not satisfying her, you are not
Now,
satisfying her.
let me now tell you this. That's why I said. That's why I said. Look, if he's already sexually active, doesn't matter the number of body count. If he's already sexually active, it must be discussed. Discussion means the lady is telling the guy. I told you of a lady. The lady called off the relationship because he told the guy, look, me, that was the first time I heard about head, giving someone head. Me, I've not heard it before. The lady said, I should check it online. And I check it, and now, but the guy said he can't do it. And they call it off. So that's why it should be discussed. So that at the end of the day, there's no point getting into something and you're in bondage. So if the lady we have many body counts, sincerely, I don't think it would be wise for the guy to go ahead. Because no, sincerely,
sir,
most likely he will not. But if the
sir,
lady, yes, go ahead.
If you even check it out now,
Mm.
just for me, I mean, kind of sometimes I use facts to defend or to say what I want to or to make my decision.
Yes.
If you check it out, you see that paternity fraud is very, very high.
Yes.
Mostly in Nigeria.
Yes.
Like even I think Nigeria is even raging about, I think, second in the world.
Mm.
Now, so for that instance, for that fact existing there, what do you think or how do you even accept that the person you are dealing with is the right person? That's one. If she's the right person or she's not the right person, how do you handle that? Because this is my problem. This is my problem. I've not been in a relationship for a very long time. All right. I was once in a relationship with someone when I entered school, when I was on the level. So after some time, I noticed that yes, this girl wants sex. I have to be real with you, sir. So she's active.
Mm.
Yes, I'm active, but for a very long time, I haven't had sex, like for some many years.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because the space was not there.
Mm-hmm.
The time was not there. From
Mm-hmm.
Monday to Sunday, I'm always busy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have time for anybody. So when I now enter with this girl, I notice that this is what she's looking for. But I'm not chanced like that. in that sense. And where she's living from where I'm living is very, very far. And sometimes when she will finish from campus, it may be around that kind of 7 because she's in medicine. So they finish very late with their practicals. So she coming over to my place again will not work. So as time goes on, I noticed that she now end up even following up on that person. The person does not even, the person is not dating her. But whenever I ask her who is this person, she says her bestie. All right. So sometime, and then okay, I woke up to the guy one day, say, this is your bestie na shop. I just use a guy talk. Na shop person, she find you always good. The guy is the girl good for bed.
Okay.
The guy was real with what he was saying. And someone like me, I'm still saying that, okay, I don't have chance for this girl. I can't even give her this because this face is not yet there. At that point, I felt very bad that if we are dating.
Now, can you see now? Can you see now? That's exactly the issue I was talking about. That, you already, number one, having that kind of relationship is it's not okay, sincerely, as a student on campus because of the distraction it gives you. Now, but look at, you yourself can see what this lady wants now. And you can see that you cannot. Even now, you're not married though. Imagine if you are married. This is exactly the reason why it's unwise. Really, sincerely, it's not wise if people are in a relationship, they want to get married and they don't discuss this issue. This, what you just said now, lay reason to the reason why the discussion must be done. But I will not support the fact that because someone is already, because if a prostitute now change, does it mean because he has slept with many people, he can't get married? I mean, that for me would be unfair. That would be unfair. So, but some people will still not mind, and that is okay. But for those that
size breaking.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's coming and going. Oh, it's better now. Yeah, it's better now.
Better.
Yeah, it's better now, sir.
So I'm saying it will.
Yes, it's better now, sir.
It will not be wise, sincerely, for anybody to say because a prostitute can change, and some guys don't mind. So I don't think it should be a major criteria. But for guys that cannot deal with it, that's fine. Everybody have different baggage they carry in their life, and that they're able to manage their life. So for me, I don't recommend anything. Whatever works for you. But what is important is that this is an important area of our life that must be discussed.
Yeah, even there was, sir, we had a case in the office. Yeah, we had a case in the office some time ago. A staff of ours, she's having kind of a relationship with a kind of a neighbor in our office. So this guy is a guy that we know that this guy is a kind of is a street guy in that sense. So we are all kind of we felt somehow that a staff in our office is having something with this person. But meanwhile, we just pull out, like, these guys are adults, they can do whatever they like. So after some time, the girl walked up to me and she said that she did my advice or something. Then I started talking, we started talking. Then, she was saying that she is a virgin, all right? And this guy, they've been dating for some months, maybe around 2-3 months. And the guy is demanding sex. Now, do you know that she's saying no, but the guy is giving her reasons to say yes. I'm not wondering that, okay, you are a virgin, fine. And this guy is demanding for sex. You are saying, no, I'm not ready. And he's saying that, one, I love you. Then if you love me back, we should have this sex. That's one. Secondly, that if you're afraid that you can't have sex, that there's no way you would be this virgin except through relationship. Even I wish I had this knowledge that time. I would have just addressed it in a better way. Because, at that point, I was like, what is happening? The point is this. People are even controlling others' mind. They are controlling others' opinion, others' decision. Because they are not informed. They don't have privilege to listen to stuff like this that we're listening to.
Yeah.
That kind of girl, I wish I had the right information to give at that time. I don't know what have happened now, but I know that she woke up and she was saying this to me.
But the good thing now, you don't have the information, and you can always educate other people in future. Let me take
on it's there already.
Let me take on a go of time.
Okay,
Someone said,
thank you so
I
much.
learned today that sex is an important topic to discuss with intending partners, and being a health professional, I relate a lot with some things. Truth is that in this world that we are, first, there are people with extremely high sexual hormone, yes, and in those people, their sex drive is usually higher than normal. That's correct. In those people, Paul tells them that it is better to marry than to born. Very correct. Secondly, there are sexually dysfunctional people. A lot of things going on around us introduce people to various sexuality that leads to being captured by homosexuality and bisexuality, yeah, which is very abnormal. Handling this has been an issue. I have a question, though. I have heard some people say that there are good and ungodly way having sex between married couple. Before married people, does this exist? That's not true. I don't believe that. I don't think so. I don't think so. The Bible is silent on this. You know, I think the challenge we have as Christians, people are so religious and they read into the Bible what was not. The Bible never give any description of how sex should be done. It never give. I'm not saying it. If you see it, you can show me. So you can't say some people do an act and the act they did is wrong. That's your opinion about it. Don't bring any other opinion into it. It's their body, whatever they are, if they are married, whatever they want to do with themselves, let them do it. That's their own cup of tea. So for someone saying there's a particular way that it has to be done, who says so? Who says so? If there are other ways the people want to explore themselves, why not? That is their cup of tea. So I don't think, for me, my opinion, I don't think we should read. I strongly believe we should not, don't use your background, your own way of life or experience to now dictate to people how they should live their life. As long as they are not violating any scriptural principles, you can't say there is a normal and ungodly way. So which one is godly? Did Jesus tell you any way, anyone? He didn't say anyone. So why out of it did Paul mention any? So for me, I don't think any, and now, as long as the people are married, they are couple, whatever they want to do to explore themselves and their body, that is their cup of tea. They are not doing it in the open, they are doing it themselves. So I don't think anybody should be condemning anybody with whatever they choose to do as a married couple. So I disagree completely with anybody saying there's a normal or abnormal way. I don't agree with that because I'm not sure the scriptures say anything on that. Let me hear from, I think I say one or two people. Okay, I can see Victor, my good friend with a lot of questions. Victor, how you not treat me with questions today? Victor, good evening. Are you there? Hello, Victor. Victor, are you there? Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Long time. How are you? I can hear you.
Yeah. Fine, sir. Thank you, sir. So sir, a lot has been said today, and actually at the beginning I didn't even have any question, but as other people started speaking, the question came in. Yes, my question will be from just an extension of what two people have spoken about. Well, the first person was the speaker talked about him being a virgin and wanting to marry someone being a virgin too. I think like that you said that to you. I understand you saying that it should not make it like a deal breaker, but having that kind of mindset
but if
too,
that is what he wants, he should go for it. I don't have any issue with it. I'm only saying, you know, Yoruba will say, if you close your eyes for bad people to pass, when good people will pass, you will not know. So, because sincerely, I just feel prostitutes change and they've slept with many people and they will get married. And some guys can deal with it. But for the people that cannot deal with it, then they shouldn't. So if you can deal with it, go ahead. If you can't, I mean, if that's what you like, look, I have a brother, sorry to cut you, Victor. I have a brother, sorry, an uncle rather.
Oh,
when I was in school, I was in Unilag, my uncle said he wants to marry a doctor. I was in Lut. He comes to Lut regularly to see me, just to go around, to be able to meet ladies who are doctors. Guess what? He eventually married a doctor that is even from my village.
wow.
That's what he wants. And he was looking for it. And he found it. So if this is what you want, why not? I'm only saying it should not be a deal breaker. It's a recommendation. It's not a rule. It's not a law. If this is what you want, why not? Please go ahead.
Oh, okay, sir. Because I was like, you mentioned like 4 causes of divorce in marriages, I think last week, and you said like sex was one of these. I was thinking that even someone
infidelity
for virginity, yes, infidelity, like it's also like, I feel like it's almost like trying to like reduce the
You're right.
one
You're
of the
very correct. You're very correct.
If you marry the issue, yes, the person does not have any.
Yes. You're very correct. It reduces.
Exactly. He does not have anybody to compare to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's almost like trying to like save yourself from any forthcoming stress or
yeah. I agree with you.
Yes, sir. So okay, so another question again is that
Okay.
Elijah spoke about people having high sexual drive and those having low sexual drive.
Yeah.
In that scenario, I think that's one of the reasons why people also choose to have like premarital sex. You'll be like, what if my sexual drive is so high and only so low? Let's see whether that's even the point of compatibility, that maybe we are just two opposites, like our life are just different. So let's know if we can actually work together. I think that's the reason why some people choose to have premarital sex. So I want to like, what do you see in that issue when someone is having high sexual drive and another person
What I
having
know for us as human is don't give excuse for indiscipline, no matter how high the sexual drive is. If you meet with a lady, you are kissing, you are caressing, and the lady just tell you he has HIV, immediately you normalize. That drive will dry immediately. What make it to stop? Why are you able to stop when he told you he has HIV? No matter how high the drive is, if you want to control it, you will control it. It's all about the information you have at your disposal. This same person that say he has sexual drive, he will sleep with everything he's scared. Now he's smooching a lady and the lady say he has HIV. Immediately, all the drive went down. Why did it go down? Why did it continue? So you really have control. You always have control. It's for you to know you have control and work towards the fact that you have control. Being able to have control before marriage is a sign you have control after marriage. So giving that excuse of the fact that you have weakness, that's not you. If it's a weakness you have, be rest assured. If you have that drive, God will also give you the ability to control it. You really can control it. And I've given you a scenario where it can be controlled. Because that same person, as much as he has a high drive, he has not slept with the mom. He has not slept with the sister. But he's saying he has high drive. That's not true. He has control.
So what was that? Okay, maybe I'll add that one in terms of divorce next week, because I'm wondering like, what if someone gets married? I noticed that the other partner has a very low sex drive or a very high sex drive and they cannot cope, because I actually read comments from Punch when I see about divorce.
Victor, sorry to cut you again. That's the reason why I say it should be discussed, because it will lead to divorce eventually. Most likely it will lead to it. You will see the statistics next week when we discuss divorce. It will lead to it. So that's why it should be discussed and find a way. Like I told you, I see going back to this lady who has two sexual partner before he get married, and now he was almost divorcing the husband. I discovered the way he was really feeling bad and low and unhappy in class. I was with her for like 2 hours. Eventually, she was able to discover. She herself don't even know the reason why she's having issue with her husband, almost losing her mind and her marriage. Immediately, I said, look, talk to your husband about this matter. She sat her husband down and explained. And the husband was understanding. And she taught her husband, and they are fine. And they are fine. You know, so if it's discussed, we shouldn't, look, it's like something is plaguing us. We are shying away from it. It's like someone is sick. He doesn't want to go to the doctor. It's plaguing our society. If there is no high level of sex education, perversion of sex will continue to increase. It will continue to increase. But when people understand the implication and how to handle it, so you now know that if you're sexually active, then you must discuss. To what extent do you go? What are the styles you can engage in? So what's your best style or option? Is this something you can deal with? If the guy cannot deal with it, then don't go ahead and put yourself in trouble and have issues. Don't go ahead. Find someone else. She will find someone else. You will find someone else. Everybody will be fine.
But if people are listening that they are okay, this may be wrong, but I hear something like they say there are many fishes in the river, but golden fish is scarce. That sometimes this kind of record, and again, there's this idea that you can never find the perfect person. So I know the people are saying that if you meet a good person, it's better for you to hold them tight, because you may not find another person that
that's not true. That's a scarcity mentality. That's not true. You're in a hurry. That's not true. There's nobody. What if you grew up in another country and you never met that person? Does it mean you won't find someone else in that country you grew up in? That's not true. You can always find someone that will be good for you. You can always find. If there are baggage the person is carrying that you cannot deal with, some guys, they don't mind. Some ladies, they don't mind. Why? They can deal with it, but some cannot deal with it. That's why you discuss and you engage and you decide. What I know for a fact is that this is a big issue in the society, and the reason why it's a big issue is that we don't discuss, we shy away from it. Now, we've discussed this tonight now, so a large extent will be very open, but this kind of conversation, you can't have it in some environment. Why? Because we're shying away, because we're discussing sex, as if it's not part of our life.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
So one more question.
Go ahead.
So I wanted to say to that, you mentioned something about, I think someone spoke about like if they got married and notice that the person is impotent and they have to like divorce.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask that, at what point do you consider a person married? Is he at the point of going to the courts, or at the point of the traditional wedding or the church wedding? At what point, or is at the point of them having that sexual intercourse or marriage? At what point is yes? At what point is
to marry is to be joined together. The physical joining is not as strong as the emotional and spiritual joining that happened during sex. So physical joining is okay. You do that in church, or you do that during traditional, or during whatever it is. Let me tell you my opinion about marriage in Africa. I think in Africa we marry 3 times. We marry our usual way that we always marry before the white men bring Christianity, which is a marriage. We then marry based on the law of the land because of the English law that we're copying. And then we marry again in church. Any of the 3 qualify as a marriage, the physical one. But the emotional, spiritual one is one that consummates it during sex.
So which one is the one that they said that all God has joined together, let no man put asunder? Is he at that point, or at what point do you arrive at that point?
Either you join by going to court, or you join by doing traditional, or you join by going to church. As long as the parent consent has been sought, both parties have agreed, and dowry has been paid, you are married already.
Okay. So why did I do church? Like, why is the church? It's almost like the church is
must stay relevant. The church must stay relevant. The church must stay relevant. But those that marry without going to church does not have a lesser marriage. But the church must stay relevant. That's why that narrative is being peddled. But the truth is that you can marry either. Some people go to court, they go to reception and they are done. Some people just do traditional, they pray with them and they are done. Some people decide to go to church. You go to court, you go to church, you did the 3, you did 2, you do 1. Parental consent, paying dowry are more important than every other. That's why it's called ceremony. Those other things are ceremony. Ceremony.
Okay, because I was having a discussion with someone and it was like, if someone did not do the church wedding, he can actually, and let's say after a while he got born again or he became a Christian, that because there was no the church wedding did not take place, that means basically if he has any this, that means he has like the ground to divorce if there are issues in his marriage. And I'm like, wow.
If they do court marriage, he has to go to court to separate. If they didn't do court, maybe they can decide to divorce any way they choose to. If they can decide to
at that point, is he against any spiritual law, any spiritual?
Which one?
Like, is he?
Which one?
No, like if someone did traditional wedding now or this court wedding and he wants to divorce, like at what point, like as a Christian, can that be considered good or righteous?
Which one?
Okay, no, I'm not saying that. The person was like, so far this person got married, did not get married in the church.
He can divorce.
He can divorce.
Is that what he's saying?
Yes, he's like, can actually divorce and it's not a sin against God.
No. Oh, so what he's saying is that if the person not get married in church and decide to divorce, it's sin against God.
Yes, that invariably.
The issue is this: the Bible says God hates divorce, but there are grounds for divorce. For example, if the man is impotent, you have to separate from that relationship. Number one. Number two, if you have been beaten, you don't need to die. The covenant of life is stronger than the covenant of marriage. So you can't allow someone to kill you in the house. Do you understand?
Okay, if the person leaves, is that not, if the person separates, can the person go and remarry?
No. It's good he divorce before he remarry. It's good that. Why can't he remarry? He can remarry. If he divorce, for example, the guy is impotent and he decides to divorce.
No. Like the one about the principle of life, that because
the man
was
beats the lady, and the lady decides
Yes.
to move away from the relationship, to separate, and he decides
Yes.
to marry someone. You want him to continue in that marriage for the guy to be beating him?
No. I'm not saying like, can the person separate and remarry? Is that still righteous?
We should no. Look, let me tell you. You know, one of the biggest challenge we have as Christians today is, rather than looking at the principle, we are looking at if it's right or wrong. If you look at if it's right or wrong, you will never. Is it right for Jesus to die, for them to kill him? Is it right to kill, to murder him? Answer me now.
No.
It's not right, but it's necessary. So look at things from the eye of necessity. Don't get caught into this right or wrong, because if you get caught in that, there's so many things that you'll be confused about that God did. But it was done out of necessity. It is necessary for that woman to leave that marriage. And since the scripture says it's better to marry than to burn, if he decides to go and marry someone else, that's his choice. You can't then say he has done something wrong, he should stay in that marriage, or he should stay, okay, he should now not marry, he should not be sleeping around again. I mean,
No, you should do for you to resolve the issue. Maybe the man to
how
talk to
will
him.
you resolve the issue with someone who does not? If the man change, of course, that's why most churches will recommend separation, which I agree with. I don't support divorce, but I will not say someone should stay in a marriage where they are beating her, because we see how that has played out even in Nigeria. But I recommend separation. I recommend separation.
If must leave.
I support the churches that recommend separation to see if the guy will change. And if they see a sign of change and the woman return, that's better. I prefer that. But it's now the choice of this lady. But because he can't change the guy, he cannot change the guy. He can't change the guy. So what if the guy does not change? So the lady remain like that? Leave him to God.
Yes, now because that's why the person should have prayed about it or something like that.
Leave him to God. If he decides to marry, let him settle that with God himself. That's not our own. It's not for us to say if he has done something right or wrong. He shouldn't stay in a marriage where someone is beating her, or when the lady is beating the guy, because there are cases, Lagos State reporting cases where the lady is beating the guy and is beating the guy blue-black. It's happening in Lagos. Lagos State is reporting, they only talk about the video. They don't talk about the guy, because the guy will not be able to talk. But Lagos State confirmed that men are reporting that the wife is beating them blue-black. Yes, same Lagos.
But your man will not marry someone that is stronger than him in the first place. So why is he happening?
Leave that thing. The women are very strong. Go forget to.
I can't imagine it. Anybody that tells me, I would just be laughing like this.
In fact, I heard of a case that the woman is very big. Very, very big. It's fact. So when you want to deal with the husband, you push the husband will push the husband will land on the chair, he will sit on him and make a demand. The husband will grant the demand immediately.
That man. Why did he marry someone else?
He will grant the demand immediately. What are you talking about? It's not that happening.
That.
All right now.
Yeah, so one more thing before we go. I want to talk about divorce, but maybe I will leave that till next week. But one more thing about my divorce. Okay, yes. One more thing I want to talk about today is that you were talking about someone that about if like you talk about like your uncle or something like that. I was coming to see you in school because I wanted a certain kind of person, because maybe you're going to marry like a medical doctor or something like that. So I'm not wondering, like, to what extent does choice actually matter in terms of picking a partner? Is it not more of you relying on instruction from God, or how do you balance the two between not doing? Because at the end of the day, sometimes even when they are talking about marriage, they say
You,
don't
you
have an idol
assume,
in your
you
heart,
assume,
because idol is more of like
you assume everybody is a Christian by saying you need to hear from God. You assume everybody is a Christian. When I talk on this platform, I don't talk like everybody is a Christian. Some people might not be Christian and they can still have a good marriage. There are people, in fact, my mentor was saying he knows couple. This is my mentor that told me that, look, he discovered after 7 years of marriage that rule number 1, do what your wife wants. Rule number 2, do what your wife wants. Rule number 3, don't forget rule number 1 and 2. And he was telling me that he met a couple in the US who are atheists, but they have a fantastic, they've been married for 35 years. They have a fantastic marriage than him. He's been married for less than 20 years. He said they have a fantastic marriage than him. And this couple are elderly people and they are atheists. But he liked, he rate, he will rate their own marriage more than his own. And he is a pastor. So I don't want to spiritualize it. If someone say, this is what I want, just ensure you are married based on principles. At least the person does not say want a lady with, if it was a physical feature, I might have a concern, because what happens if that physical feature change? But if someone say, I need a lady who is a doctor because he will be able to take care of the children when they are sick, he will not be able to handle them, he has a reason. And for me, I think it's a good reason. If that's what he wants, he's able to get it. What he should not do is, if he now have to wait for 10 years, it's not finding it, and it's not changing it. It's just like a lady that is the criteria a lady wants in a guy at 22, 23, 24. If the lady does not marry until he's 40, if he still want that criteria, then he is going to wait till he's 60. Because as he's growing older, our criteria have to change, because a lady at 40 should not be saying looking for a guy that will take care of her or that will be able to pay her bill. If at 40 you can't pay your bill, something is wrong with you as a lady. But a lady of 22, 24 can say he wants a guy that can take care of her. But that criteria cannot be, a lady in 40 cannot be asking for that. So what that means is that it's not bad for you to desire some qualities, but you must have guiding principles.
But
yes.
even the lady that wants, that is 22, that want a man take care of her, like, is she going to marry someone? Because you talk about like not marrying someone, like the generational, like the gap between them is not too much. So I'm wondering, if someone is 22, if you are marry your contemporary, it's not likely that the man will
No,
be
if it's
so
22, a 27, 26, 27-year-old guy that is working, that worked for 3-4 years can take care of her now. Why not?
comfortably without any.
And no,
like,
no,
just
now, when you take care of her, not that they are both young people now, not that they are earning so much yet.
because
why
these
I
days
refer
people
to
want
that,
to go to Dubai for
no. When I refer to that, what I say by that is, I'm saying that people can choose what they want. But okay, now in one of these series, we are going to discuss what I call the pointers. When we begin to discuss pointers, this will be in maybe late October or early November. The way I'm going now, with my extent in November, the way I'm going, maybe sometimes in October, we'll discuss pointer. Now, what is pointer talking about? Pointer is talking about signs you see that will make you to say, no, I'm not sure I can go ahead. The signs. So I can have some qualities that, and I have signs that, look, if I see this, I'm not sure I want to go ahead again. Because there's some things you see. If you see someone that is a perpetual liar, how will you want to go ahead? Because if he tells you it's A, you won't be able to trust whatever he say when you get married. Why do you want to go ahead? So there must be some things, some basic requirement that a reason, some like criteria that must foundation that say this one are non-negotiable. Why? Because they are against my values as an individual. So there's nothing wrong in having that. Now, if I have 3, 4, 5 people that meet that criteria, if I'm a Christian, it will not be wise for me to pray to be able to choose the best of them that is suited for me. The best of them that is suited for me. Because I believe God knows the future better. He knows the one that will. But if I were to choose as human, the 5 of them are good enough based on my criteria. But now I'm going spiritual because I don't know tomorrow. I need some other criteria that will help. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Let me give you an example. I already know my wife for 10 years and we're friends before I prayed about it and I felt I should consider it for marriage. But before I pray about it, I don't mind marrying her because we're friends. And I like all the qualities she has. Do you understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I won't even pray about it if there are things I see that I don't like. I won't even pray about it. There's nothing wrong in you seeing someone and you like the person, but because of your faith as Christian, you start to pray to seek God's face to have, if you have peace of mind to go ahead. Why not you go ahead? But please note that there are people who never prayed and they got married and they still have fantastic marriage. So that you did not pray does not mean you have done anything wrong. Only that you might not be making the best choice for yourself. As a Christian, you might not, and I use the word might not carefully.
All right, sir.
All right. So we'll continue next week. It's only some people did not talk. I don't know why, but I guess they just enjoy our conversation. Thank you very much, everyone. We spent 2 hours today. Wow, it's a serious matter. See you next week as we discuss the problem. And the problem we are discussing next week is the problem of divorce. And like I said, let me just run you through the remaining part of this program. So manage your expectation. So episode 11 will be problem, and we'll be focusing on divorce. Episode 12 will be purpose. We'll be discussing the purpose of marriage. Episode 13, 14, and 15 will be preparation. How do we prepare for marriage? Episode 13, episode 14, and episode 15 will be focused on preparation. How do we prepare? Episode 16 will be focused on planning. How do we plan? And episode 17 will be focused on pointers. Pointers, what are the things you see that will make you to say, I'm not going ahead again? And episode 18 will be focused on predisposition. 18, 19, and 20 will be focused on predisposition. So we are currently on episode 10. That means we are only halfway through. So we still have about 10 more episodes to go. 10 more episodes to go to be able to round off. Thank you very much, everyone. See you next week and have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.